everybody. It is April Joy here, host of the Liberation Lounge, where we have real talk with real women. I am super excited today to have an amazing woman that I have just really had the pleasure and the privilege of getting an opportunity to know. We kind of were like ships in the night, passing, each other over the years, but really have developed just a sisterhood, which I'm so grateful for, and someone that I have a tremendous amount of respect for in so many areas of the things that she has accomplished in her life. But without further ado, let's welcome to the virtual studio none other than Miss Yvette Simpson. So good to see you, Yvette. How are you feeling today?
I am lovely, my dear sister April Joy. It is so good to join you. Whenever we get together, there is always joy. There's always sisterhood. There's always love. There is always liberation. So I'm so
Yeah.
excited to be on your show. Thank you for inviting
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to be here today. And so this is episode 3 of the Liberation Lounge, and we're so excited to just just dig right in and get into the conversation, right?
me.
And so for those who may not be familiar with you and your background, maybe we can just start there. Just tell our listeners a little bit about you, your background, and kind of what you've been up to.
Yeah, so my story is a very interesting one. Most folks who know nicknamed the Queen of Reinvention. So that's probably the best way to describe me. Over the course of my life, I've had the fortune of working in a lot of different fields, doing a lot of different things that really make my heart go and allow me to use my gifts and talents to change the world. I am now in the purpose business, helping people figure out their purpose and to give that gift to the world because we need that so much in this time. So I am a lawyer and a realtor and an author and a podcaster and a commentator, a political strategist and executive strategist. Shall we go on? Winemaker, wine educator. I do a lot of things with love, but I think most importantly, I think what I do is I really I try to help people figure out what makes them go, how to change the world in small and large ways by using their gifts. And so that's really, I think if I had to think about what my big story is, that's what I've always done. And that's my through line is really helping other people figure out how to change the world and find freedom in doing that. So that's my story. It
Yes.
didn't start that way. Humble beginnings, very challenging childhood.
Mhm.
I always say it's all about hills and valleys. It's all about
Yes.
highlights and lowlights. And baby, it started in the valley, but it's been mostly mountains since then, and God has blessed me in a real tremendous way to be able to have a life that I'm really loving and really happy about. So
Awesome. Awesome. Well, we are going to dig more into that life that you have created, right? Over the course of the conversation. And so it's just so exciting to have you on today. So let's get into the conversation. So this show is all about giving women the space and the grace to be able to understand what they're truly capable of, regardless of what stage of life that they're in, right?
yeah.
And to give them an opportunity to really connect with other women that have gone through that phase of liberation, reinvention, and are not allowing anything related to society's expectations to tell them what they're capable of or how to define success and happiness. So
Amen.
the first question is, how have you learned to really prioritize who you are, what you want to accomplish, your happiness and your freedom? How have you really learned how to prioritize that? And regardless of what other people may think about you or the decisions that you're making, what has that looked like for you?
It's been a journey, I have to say. I think for all of us, I think it is. I didn't start out that way. I think I've always had a really strong sense of self. I've always,
Mhm.
because of what I've overcome, I've always felt like I love myself. I've always been very self-aware, but I was a giver. And I think if, I was somebody who felt very grateful for all the blessings that I've been given, and I would give myself even to my last energy, even to my
Mhm.
last breath. I remember working through sickness, working through fatigue, pushing
Mhm.
myself to the limit, going above and beyond
Mhm.
for people. And sometimes people who didn't appreciate it, didn't treat it with kindness, didn't treat it with
Mhm.
respect. And so I think once I realized that, like, okay, my giving is not something that I have to sacrifice myself for.
Right.
that it became a part of who I was. It was like, oh, Yvette, she'll give to the last bit. You give from your heart because it's what you want to give, but you can't give more than you've got. And so what I
Yes.
learned to do was I can give you what I've got, but I can't give you more than that. And I
Mm-hmm.
won't give you more than you deserve. I
Mm-hmm.
won't let people take and take
Mm-hmm.
and take. And I had to learn that. And when I
Mm-hmm.
realized that, like, my gift isn't just about giving, my
Yeah.
gift is about being my whole self and helping other people become into who they need to be. Because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes when you give people too much, they're not allowed to then make mistakes and
Yep.
chart their own path and
Mm-hmm.
fall when they need to fall and
Mm-hmm.
get back up when they need to get back up. And so I had this journey of realizing, like, I matter too. And I've given a lot. And now it's time for me to figure out what I need to do and to give
Yes.
myself gifts too. So that's been a
Yes.
journey for me. And I think that that beginning part of really perseverance and self awareness really helped me
Mm-hmm.
realize, yeah, yeah, I'm going to make choices for me. And it's been great. It's really been great. I always show up as me. It's been a beautiful thing to do. When I was
Mm-hmm.
in politics, I was able to do that. I didn't think I could. That was a really challenging time to say, okay, I'm going to show up as me. I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
be me. If people don't like it, who cares? And
Yeah.
to have been successful as I was, both in politics and in national media, showing
Yes.
up as a vet every day. That was when I
Mm-hmm.
was like, oh, yeah. Oh, and I tell women all the time, show up as you. This is
Mm-hmm.
what we need from you. You are the only you that exists, and the world
Yes.
needs you as you. And I live that. So I think that's a really big part of it when you start to realize that you're enough, that the world
Yes.
needs you exactly as you are right now. Not if you lose 5 pounds, not if you have that
Mm-hmm.
great job, not if you got that great
Mm-hmm.
person in your life, but like as you are, the world needs you like that. And there's such
Yes.
peace when you can show up like that every day. And guess what?
Mm-hmm.
It's enough.
It is. It
Yeah.
is. It is. That's so powerful. I love what you said about, you can only give what you've got and not more than that. And I think that is a
Mm,
very powerful tenet for every single woman that's watching here today to understand that piece of it, because sometimes we do try and give beyond even our own limitations. And not only is that self-sacrificing for ourselves, but it's also really inhibiting the progress of others, and we become an enabler,
yes.
right? We become an
Capital E,
enabler.
honey. I was there for a long time.
Yes,
Woo.
yes, yes. So that's
Yeah.
that's that's super, super powerful. So let's talk about, some of the ways in which you have really begun to live your life of liberation. So what does living a life of liberation mean to you, and how has that really evolved for you over the years?
I love that you've taken this loss and liberate. I just love the word liberation. It's freedom. It's
It
all it's
is.
all we want. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And for me, freedom looks like choosing and
Yeah.
deciding and not
Mm-hmm.
having to answer to other people's expectation. When you led a public life like mine, everybody has an opinion about what you should be doing.
Yes.
Are you working on the next election? When's the next time we're going to see you on TV? Hey, you got a new book coming out? Missed you
Yeah.
on the radio. When's your next radio? And for
Mm-hmm.
me, I've done that. I've
Mm-hmm.
done that. That has been a joy in my life. I have
Mm-hmm.
5 amazing years on ABC,
Mm-hmm.
doing NPR. I still do a
Yeah.
little of that. I had 5 amazing years running races across this country, helping
Mhm,
amazing people get elected to office. I had 6 amazing years as
mhm.
an elected leader in the city of Cincinnati, giving to our children, I did that. That
Yeah,
was a wonderful thing. And guess what? It is a new season.
right.
That is not what I want to do anymore. I am leaving
Yes,
space for the next generation of leaders to take that mantle, push that forward. Yvette in this
yes,
season is doing what she loves to do and giving my gift in a different way. And
yes.
God has given me so many gifts. And I know so many people who are afraid to shift because you're
Mhm,
defined by that. Yvette,
mhm,
the council person, Yvette, the
mhm,
mayoral candidate, Yvette, the ABC news
mhm.
commentator. Guess what? Did that. This new chapter is about what do I want to do? What is God doing with me in this season? And how am I
Yes,
going to give my gift in a different way this season? And it's been joyful to
yep,
realize that I'm not just one thing,
yep,
that I can find joy in so many things and
yep,
rest in the fact that the past, nobody can take that. That's done. That's in a book. That's locked up.
Yes.
It's in the
Yep.
record. The future, though, is for me to build. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
I
for me to build.
absolutely love this conversation because
Mm. Well, I
we've
know
had
you
some
get it,
talks
right?
around
Like
this.
we're sisters in that. So,
Yes,
mm,
because it's so true. When
yeah.
people have known you a certain way,
Yes.
right? One of the hardest things often is for people to say, "Oh my gosh, well, this is how everybody knows me." And I began to feel that a little bit of that pressure towards the end of my transition because people were asking me to do things that I had done before. They
Yep.
had asked for support and things that I had done before because they knew I was good at it and I could execute at a high level there. And I got to tell you, there was so much power and peace in my heart in just saying, you know what, I'm no longer doing that anymore.
That.
Right.
Just like
And
that.
and yes, and just say, you know what? Hey, but I've got a reference for you. I got somebody you can contact,
Yep.
but me, April, is no longer doing that anymore. And what dropped in my spirit that recently was a scripture, which is 2 Corinthians 5:17. And Second
Mm,
Corinthians 5:17, that anyone who is in Christ is a new creation. Old things have passed away, and
yeah.
behold, all things have become new. So we're not
That.
here to preach to you today, but we will teach you
Amen. We'll
that
take it.
concept, right? It's very powerful. And so whenever I feel that someone is kind of trying to usher me back into that old life, I literally just say that to myself is old things are passed away. Behold, all things have become new. And that
Mhm.
truly has become the mantra by which I live. Like you said,
Yeah.
book is closed, it's recorded, it's all said and done.
And
And
done.
now we're moving into that new season. And to be able to utilize the gifts and talents that God has placed inside of us to really birth whatever those new projects, those new passions are, is so invigorating.
It is.
We had Dr. Carla Messer on yesterday,
Love
one of
her.
my dear friends, my sister from another mister. I've known her for like 17 years.
Love her.
We've spoken on stages together. I love her to life. And as we concluded the show yesterday, we were just chatting briefly, and she's like, "You are so invigorated by this." And I said, "I am."
That is
And
it.
she said,
That is
"I
it.
can tell," right? And that's how you know, ladies and gentlemen that are listening in. That's how you know, because you can feel a level of effervescence that begins to well up inside of you when you're beginning to really move and operate in purpose and passion. And that's really what we want to encourage everybody to do. So, love,
Yes.
love, 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 love where you went there. So, let's talk a little bit about advice, right? So if someone were to come to you, and you probably have had this question at some point, it's like, "Oh, Yvette, I'm 50 or I'm 55 or I'm over 40 and this is all I've ever done." And how can we help women? What would you say to that woman that feels like they have kind of like missed their chance,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And this is kind of all they have done, and maybe they don't even know where to start. How would you kind of guide them into that first step to reinvent themselves?
So I wrote a book about it. So get the book. I know that
Yes.
was a plug, but the book has a lot more than I can cover in a show.
You're
But it's
right.
it's about it's about getting on what we call the purpose journey, right?
Mm,
So women especially, and I know this is about, we got all kind
mhm,
of listeners, but it's about women. We tend to hold on to those definitions of who we are.
mhm.
We make it our identity. And the
Yeah.
reality is you are so much more than that. And so we get on the purpose journey, and that's where we begin to dream again. Remember
Mhm,
when we were kids and people used to ask us what we want to be when we grow up? Nobody asks
mhm,
us what we want to be when we grow up. So go back to thinking about your gifts. You've evolved over time. You've picked up new things,
mhm.
interests. What does that look like for you now? What does joy look like for you now? What is using your gifts in a way that gives you that invigoration? We call that
Yeah.
fulfillment. What does
Mhm.
that fulfillment look like for you?
Yeah.
That is that, you can't find anything to get you as high as fulfillment. Drugs won't do it,
Right.
alcohol won't do it, nothing will do it.
Yeah.
But fulfillment, what does that look like for you? And then to begin to set a course, to take the
Mhm,
very real steps to do it. You can do it. And what we tell
mhm.
people is you choose. You choose
Yes.
whether you get up in the morning or you stay in the bed. You choose which way you take the work. You choose whether you get in the
Mhm,
shower or not. You choose.
mhm,
And you
mhm.
can choose to take that next step to get on the journey to do something different. And because women tend to be very, very selfless, I tell them
Mhm.
like this: if you can't do it for you, do it for the person that's waiting for you in the place where they need you to be. Every time
Yes.
I've shifted, I've
Mm-hmm.
gotten in position and somebody has come to me and said, I needed you
Yeah.
right here in this moment. I'm so glad you're here. And
Mm-hmm.
if I had not made that move that I knew that it was pulling me, and for a lot of women, you're being pulled. You're not confused. You
Mm-hmm.
know where you're supposed to be. Most people know. It's
Yes.
finding the courage, finding the intention, finding
Mm-hmm.
the reason to go
Mm-hmm.
do the thing. And it may be fear, that F
Yep.
word that we don't like, false evidence
Yep.
appearing real. It
Mm-hmm.
may be, okay, I'm holding on to a life or a set of circumstances that is
Mm-hmm.
secure for me, and I don't want to walk away from that. But the belief that when you get there, everything you need is going to be there. And
Yes.
more importantly, there's somebody waiting for you on that X who
Mm-hmm.
needs you so that they can go and do the thing that they have to do in the world. I tell
Mm-hmm.
people we don't need more. We need everybody in position. If
Yes.
everybody is where they're supposed to be, the world has everything it needs.
Yep.
We don't have a lack of things, we have imbalance. And so
Mm-hmm.
I think that if folks could get to the place where my gift is this and I need to be over here doing that, we would have you doing that and there would be no lack there. And then
Yep.
the person could then be released to go do the thing. We're all so interconnected. So what I tell people is get in position to use your gift, find joy, do it now. You will be fine. Your life will be great and the world will be better because of it. And so I think when I start to talk to folks about that, I think it's really important. And the book and my coaching work is not just about, oh, we purpose. Oh, I think I want to
Mm-hmm.
do this. It's about intention. It's about
Yes.
finding your purpose and getting there on purpose. It's about
Mm-hmm.
taking those very real steps on purpose to
Yep.
do the thing. And you can
Mm-hmm.
do it one step at a time. I mean, for
Yep.
me, every step I've made, every time I do it, it gets a little easier because you
Mm-hmm.
get more comfortable being uncomfortable in a state of transition. And you know and have the faith and belief because you know that when you get there, you're going to be just fine. So do
Yes.
it. My advice is do it now. Don't wait. Tomorrow
Yes.
is not promised. And guess what? The world needs you right now.
Yes.
Right
Yes.
now.
Yes. So well said. So well said. Back in 2012, when I published my first personal development CD, this is in
Yes.
the CD
What
era.
are those CDs? Girl, there's a whole generation of folks watching this like a
Right.
CD.
What is a CD? And on
We
that
remember
CD,
CDs because
that's right. I said something on that CD because it really became evident to me even back then. And what I said on that CD, which was entitled "My Purpose Is My Power,"
Hmm.
and what I said on that CD was, if you aren't exploiting and fulfilling your purpose, you're actually causing other people suffering.
Ooh, that's real.
And
That,
so, and when you really unpack that, it's exactly what you said. There are other people waiting, literally waiting
right
right
there
now
for you. Hmm.
for you to execute on the gifts, the talents, and the skills that you already know are inside of you, right? It's just literally cleaning out the junk, right? That's in
Hmm.
our consciousness to really say, you know what? Everything that I need is going to be there when I get there, right? In
Hmm.
fact, I have everything that I need right now.
Yes.
And it's really just understanding how the universe is constructed, right? It's like when we're operating in purpose, when we're operating in the way and how and in the way and how the way that we're supposed to be,
Yeah.
we would be amazed at how that invisible hand begins to work, right?
Listen.
And so I love what my coach said the other day. My coach said, you know, it's really about asking yourself, what is the first domino that needs to get knocked over?
That's right.
What's
That's
the
right.
first domino? And that's what you were talking about, right? It's like, okay, what is the first step that I need to take? And here's the beautiful thing. If you've ever looked at dominoes before, when that one domino knocks over, guess what? Guaranteed, they all will fall,
They
right?
all
And
fall.
so the
Mm.
onus is really on us. Like you said, it's the power of that decision. What
Yeah.
is the one step? What is the one phone call? What is the one thing we need to research on ChatGPT? What is the one meeting? What is the one event? What is the one thing that we need to do, which is going to be the one domino that's going to really kickstart this thing into motion? And
Yeah.
so I absolutely, absolutely love that. So
Yeah.
as we wrap up here, what what would you say the role of community and connection with other women has kind of played in your journey of living authentically and on purpose? How important has that been for you?
Everything. Everything.
Mhm,
I One of the things I love about, I think, life and being in a purpose space is that you realize very quickly that nobody does it alone. You just
mhm.
don't. What's that African proverb? It says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together.
Yes.
I can look at every stage of my life and everything I've ever done that has been significant, whether it's significant personally, professionally. There have been women who have been there with me through
Mhm,
it. I was
mhm,
just sharing with somebody about Marion Spencer, who was one of my mentors, who we
mhm.
lost back in 2019, and how when I first decided to run for office, she had already done that. She had been a Black woman who had been on city council, the first one, and how she came alongside me and said, baby girl, you can do this. Come on, Pumpkin, we got this. Let's
Yeah.
go. And when I wanted to quit, she said, keep on fighting, Pumpkin, keep on fighting. You
Mhm,
got this. And I think about the community of women I even have with you who
mhm,
continue to encourage me. And I would tell people, if you are stagnant, if your life is not where you want it to be, check your circle. Check
mhm.
your circle. Because if you've got people around you who are feeding into you, who are pushing you, then you are moving in the right direction. If you are stuck, it might just be that you don't have the people in your circle who see
Yeah.
you, who can remind you who you are, whose you
Mhm.
are, who can show you the steps when you fall down. They're right there to catch you and pick you up and push you forward. It is, I can't even name in the time that we have the number of women who have been there for me as sponsors and
Yeah.
mentors and
Mhm,
encouragers and prayer warriors and
mhm.
people who have just given me solid, great advice.
Yeah.
People who have been, like I would say, women are like elephants, people who remind you when you
Yeah.
forget, you get that next challenge. Oh, I can't make it, baby girl. You did that already. Remember that
Mhm,
time when you climbed over that one thing and da, 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 and you're like, you're right, I did do that. I can do this. It's
mhm.
everything. And so I pray that as folks are thinking about going through this liberation
Yeah.
journey, make sure you've got a group of people with you who know you, who will take care of you, who
Mhm,
will cover you, who will push you, who will challenge you.
mhm,
Oprah said something about, she said, don't have anyone in your circle who is not genuinely happy for you and
mhm.
wants you to be your best. Don't have people
Mhm.
in your circle who jealous. Don't be people have
Yeah.
people in your circle who don't know what liberation looks like, who
Yeah.
don't know what prosperity and abundance looks like, because
Yeah.
they might get in your head.
Yeah.
They might be people who trap you or stop you.
Mhm,
And yes, you can pray, put your hands on them, bless you, God bless you.
mhm.
We want the best for you, baby girl. But in this season,
Yeah.
I need people around me who are going to be pushing me. So it's been everything to me, and it will continue to be. It will continue.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Love, love, love,
Yeah.
love that. And I
Yeah.
know we have a lot of mutual connections. I was
Yes.
actually texting earlier today with Sonia Jackson Miles, and
Talk
who
about
is
an
definitely
encourager. Holy smoke.
right,
You can't be down for 5 minutes after a conversation.
right. Exactly.
Woo!
Exactly. So it is so powerful for us, certainly as women, to be able to have that community and to be able to support, inspire, uplift, encourage, and just be a force for good,
Yeah.
right? In each other's lives. And I'm so grateful that we've been able to be that for each other and
Other,
have
yeah.
developed that community
Mhm.
of other women as well. And so as we wrap up here, everybody, we just have a couple quick announcements. I want to be sure that everybody is fully aware of what April is working on. Hashtag April Showers Cali, that I am in the process of raising $500,000 for victims of the California
Mhm.
wildfires. As many of you
Mhm.
saw on episode 1, I have a very personal connection to what's happening out there because my family grew up in Altadena, California before I was born. My mom, my dad, 3 of my brothers, and my sister all lived in Altadena, which unfortunately has all been but decimated from the fires. And so, my brother, when he called me and said, I don't even know if that little house that we grew up in is even still standing. And, I could feel the emotion in his voice because he has such fond memories, right? And I thought, gosh, rewind the tape. That could have been my family that was affected, right, by something like this. And both my father, who was a military firefighter, and my partner, Glenn, who is a military firefighter as well, I understand the long-term repercussions that come from being involved in such a tragic event like this, not only of the victims, but also of the first responders that are involved with obviously helping move this process forward and to try and restore some level of normalcy back to these families. So I'm very excited about it. So anything that I do effective this Tuesday moving forward, a percentage and portion of those proceeds will be donated directly to the American Red Cross of Greater Los Angeles. And so I'm very, very excited about that. And then tonight, y'all, is my last Liberated and Aligned Goal Statement and Habit Installation Workshop. We've gotten some tremendous feedback. And literally it is an experience that you haven't had before. I can just tell you that. This is not a webinar, this is a workshop. Like, there's real work that you're going to do, right? So if you're still in that place right now saying, hey, okay, I have a goal, but I don't have a plan, then I encourage you to register for that workshop, which will take place tonight from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. And I'm super excited that next Tuesday, we're going to have on the Liberation Lounge a dear friend of mine, Ruth Marty, who is an author, business coach, prophetess. She has created amazing opportunities for women in Ghana, which is where she is from originally. And she has literally positioned these women to be free in many cases from domestic violence within their community and in their household. And the only way that's done is by liberating these women and giving them an opportunity to actually become entrepreneurs within their country. And that is what Ruth has been successful at doing. And she's super passionate about helping women on a global level. And so I'm very excited to welcome Ruth Marty out of Houston, Texas. She is going to be joining us next Tuesday, January 21st at 12 p.m., which will be our next episode. So this week we kicked off the show with a few episodes just to let everybody know this is what's happening, but we will be each and every Tuesday at lunchtime, 12 to 12:30, moving forward. So I'm really, really excited about that. So with that, we are just coming up on our 30-minute mark. Yvette, it has been an honor. I know.
We could talk all day though, so that part.
We could. But it has been my honor, my privilege to have you on the Liberation Lounge today. Thank you so much for taking the time to share your wisdom and your insights with our followers. And I'm sure that we'll be seeing each other real soon. Thank you so much for being such a giver and being so abundant in your giving today. So thanks again, everybody. We look forward to seeing you next week. Have a phenomenal weekend, and we'll see you next Tuesday on the Liberation Lounge. Bye for now.
Bye, everybody.